I see libraries playing a huge role in these days, bigger than they have, I hope. And I know in the US, we've been trying to make a kind of federation of libraries that because in our country that's one of the very few networks that goes from the biggest cities to the smallest ones. There's always a library, even in a little tiny town. So we've been trying to initiate discussions in our libraries. Our problem is that often, and increasingly so, we're not allowed to discuss certain things that are considered partisan. So I had a question. I said, well, what if all of the libraries in the US take a topic like, let's say, freedom of speech? Would that be considered partisan? And they said, yes. So we can't do that. I said, you can't discuss freedom of speech? And I said, no, it's considered partisan because it's considered challenging. And this is the new era that we're in which information is becoming politicized. So it's a very, very tough moment. And even more important that we find ways to cooperate with institutions that deal with information and culture, best example, libraries, to help people understand what's going on. In our country, in the US, we don't, it's very hard to distinguish now between what's called fake news and real news. For example, this morning on the news in the US, on CNN, there was a meteorologist. I think he's the weatherman. He tells you, hey, here's a big storm coming in, very big storm. So there is somebody asking him questions about the big Hurricane Harvey in Houston in Texas that is now turning into a flood. And the guy who was asking the question said, is this a trend, bigger storms? We see, I think we see a trend now for these megastorms. Is that true? And the guy who's doing the weather, the climatologist, says, I can't discuss statistics. So everybody hears, because now we have no more Department of Energy, or we're not taking, we're not keeping track of statistics anymore, because that's considered partisan. So the role of libraries is crucial in a culture in which information is challenged and considered political, as it is in the United States with climate. So that even a weatherman can't answer a question that says, are we having more frequent storms? Zip. I can't discuss statistics. So, in order to understand any kind of shift in climate, let's say it's getting colder, hotter, whatever, you need to keep a record of it, and you need to you need to have a record of trends and a factual record of trends. So, and real numbers. So that is no longer being kept in the United States, as many of these departments are being canceled and closed. So we have libraries, and so we have to find a way to keep these conversations going. And for us in the US, it's very important that we be able to maybe cooperate with other libraries that can maybe help us. Let's say. That's my answer.